Hey y'all, it's your girl Breezy, aka Thick Madame 730. And you know I love to run my mouth. So I was in these TikTok streets and the gingers are black. Before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I come to run my mouth. So, doing what I do, scrolling on the TikTok, and I saw one video and ended up in a rabbit hole. And the gingers are black. So I was watching and I was watching and I was trying to see what the folks was talking about because, I'm a black woman and gingers are black. I kept saying that to myself, right? Okay. So I watched videos of some people and I've included those so that you can see what the conversation of the people was like. Of course, I've sped them up, so you have to listen fast. But I also then did a little digging and research to see. And when I Google was like, girl, no, hair color does not determine your race. And, basically debunking whether or not they were black or not. Now, what I did find interesting, and it's just the fact of people don't know what their nationality, race, ethnicity, they don't know those things, especially I feel like white people, unless they've gone through, well, let me not say especially white people. I think as people in general don't know that, but I feel like the reason why I said it that way is like, black people, we know we black, okay? We might not know whether or not we come from the Congo. We might not know whether or not we come from Nigeria or, from Ghana or things like that. We don't know the specific tribes we come from or any of that. But when we talk about white people, I don't think that many of them realize that within their DNA makeup, a lot of them probably do have black in their background simply because slavery and all the things that came with that, the mixing that came with that, whether that was from the fact of the master sleeping with the slave women or I don't think we heard too much about like the mistresses of the house or the ladies of the house of the slave owners becoming pregnant with babies, but I'm sure there was a few of them that happened. But for the main part, it was the master getting the slave women pregnant, and then you have generations of people who don't know that you, yes, are today white, and I put that in air quotes. You are white, but if we go back in your lineage, there's some black in there. And, it is said that all people are black. So down, deep, all the way back, you would find some blackness, right? You'll hear a lot of the people in the videos that I clip, well, a few, not a lot. A few of the people in the videos that I clip say that they have done their ancestry test and they know. The one guy said he's like from Congo and all of these different things. So some of them are. And I have a cousin, God rest her soul, and other cousins, but she was the main one who always, it was interesting to me. Like when I saw her, she was very fair skinned. Shout out my cousin Mel. Like I said again, rest in peace. She's passed away since, but she was very fair skinned. She had red hair and she had freckles. So when I look at some of the ginger white people, she looks like them. Like if you look at them, I could see my cousin Mel in some of their features and characteristics in terms of how they look. So I understood where it was going. Let's say this and be clear, being black is awesome. Okay, so I understand why the people want to be black, but I'm gonna add a last video I found as I was getting things together. The majority of the ones I got are off of TikTok, but I got one from Instagram where a girl gave a good point. If we are gonna celebrate that, oh, now gingers are black, gingers are black, gingers are black, what are you doing for the black cause? Let's use your proximity to whiteness, you being white in the view of everybody's eyes, and what can you do for the people of your new community to help them out? It's not just a fashion statement. It's just not a cool statement. Oh, we black, we black. how T.S. Madison say, black like that. You need to now bring something to the community and not just no nasty raisin potato salad to the cookout. That, again, we are holding those invites because, baby, that's a whole nother discussion. But I really felt her point when I saw that video, and I said, oh, I'm going to include that. I had been meaning to record this because, this had been the talk all over social media for a while, but, it took a little minute for me to get the video out there. Nonetheless, y'all know I was still going to come to run my mouth about it. I don't care how long ago it was. If I feel like I got to say something about it, I'm going to say something about it because I love to run my mouth. Okay? So I really felt her point. She'll be the last video that I include just to kind of like sum up the topic of everything that everybody said. There's some good information out there as far as what people have said, their thoughts on it, history, and all of those things. So I want y'all to check that out, hear what the folks had to say, and let me know what y'all think. Are gingers black?
I just need to remind y'all again, everyone who is ginger, who has red hair, those are black people. All gingers are black people. If they have red hair, they are black. You see a white man with red hair, that's a black man. You see a white woman with red hair, that's a black woman. Gingers are black. All gingers.
Hi, my name's Urban, if you don't know me, and this is my grandfather. This is my papa, and we came to an agreement. He has agreed that he will not make a TikTok just to watch my stuff because he'll never post anything, but he wanted me to share some history with you guys that is not commonly known, and a lot of people don't learn this stuff in school. The reason I know it is because he shared it with me, and my family members shared history with me that's not often covered in the school system, along with some advice that's out there. The first thing that he wanted me to make sure that people were educated on and educate themselves on is the Tulsa Race Massacre. This is something that's not taught a lot in schools. A lot of people have no idea about it, but in 1921, there was a thriving, they called it Black Wall Street because it was thriving, and it was a town full of African Americans, and white people got upset that this town was just thriving because it was thriving because of black people, and they literally massacred the entire town. We have a family member that passed away in that. And it breaks his heart seeing that so many people have no idea about this. Like, it's not covered in regular history. The second largest thing that he wanted me to talk about is for people to really look into why you have certain heritage, because there are a lot of white people who will go take an ancestry test and be like, oh my gosh, look, I have like 5% or 10% or whatever the case may be, African American or Hispanic or even Native, but they don't know why that mixture happened. And while his situation is different because my white grandmother in this situation was an immigrant that moved here and had no heritage in the US, he has heritage where we have like half cousins and second cousins, third cousins, whatever it is, where the reason why there's that mixture is because what they did to enslaved people. A lot of people get excited to talk about how, oh my gosh, my DNA test came back and I'm not fully white, I have this like 5%, but not a lot of people want to talk about or learn about how they got that heritage. The man who raised me, my stepdad, was Native, grew up on the reservation, and he is actually the one that first educated me on this, and then my papa educated me more on it, because it is not talked about a lot. Everybody's so excited about these DNA tests, but they don't want to talk about how these things come about. They don't have those hard conversations and learn their family history. Because a lot of that little like one drop stuff comes from the grape of, obviously without the G, because I can't say that word on here, it'll get removed, of women that their other ancestors enslaved. So I truly am demisexual, and if you don't know what that means, it means I literally only care about personality. Like, for example, some people like to play games on PS5, some people like to play it on the Xbox, some people like to play it on the PC, whatever, they have certain preferences. I just want to play the game or I don't. Like, there's no in between. I dated both men and women of different races, different backgrounds, different sizes, all of that. And one thing he always told me, he made me promise when I was younger, that anytime I went on a first date with somebody outside my race, I would ask him why he dated outside of his race. Because there are some men who will straight up tell you, I've even had a date go like this, I walked out. I straight up walked out of that date because I asked him this question on the very first date. I kept my promise, I always have. I asked, why are you dating outside your race? And that man looked me right in the face and said, because white women are calmer, black women are ghetto and loud and make these scenes, and, just immediately started bashing black women. And I'm gonna tell you something, if you think that the color of my skin is gonna make me easier and less loud, I'm not gonna just be a problem. I'm about to be the whole fucking problem. If you go on a date with somebody outside your race and you ask them that question and their immediate response is to bash women of their own race, leave. Get up and leave. I do not care that, oh, your dinner is really good, you don't want to leave dinner. No, leave the food there, you can go get some more later. I don't care that you think it's rude or bad manners, tough shit. Okay, I will be rude as much as I need to, because the real rudeness and the real BS is them bashing women of their own race and assuming that I'm going to be easier. Some other advice that he gave is always have a dash camera. Always have a dash camera that faces both ways. Always have your driver's license and your insurance and stuff in a packet, so when you get pulled over, you can pull it right out and you have everything on camera. Never assume that body camera on that cop is working or that it's going to be shown. For example, if you don't know, I have a close friend, her brother Day was literally unalived by the police for shopping while black, basically. And it's been almost 2 months, and they just now were able to get the lawyer to be able to even look at that body cam footage. And his last bit of advice was always teach your kids their history. Teach your family history. Teach the things that a lot of these schools are not. A lot of people assume that the school's going to educate them on U.S. history, and they pick and choose what they want to talk about. He also said stop putting raisins and things for all of the white people. Now, I don't even like raisins, but I've seen some people with some work potluck. And if people keep trying to erase history, it's just going to end up being doomed to repeat itself rather than us learning from it. Also, he wanted me to thank everyone that said we had matching cheekbones. He also wanted to remind everybody that he gets to take credit for the fact I don't need lip injections, even though my lips aren't even that big. But he likes to send me like videos of women with lip injectors and be like, this, and the reason you don't have to buy these, they're not even that big. I have had 2 random women in Austin ask me where I got my lips done, which was really weird because, like, once again, my lips aren't even that big. But thank you everyone who has been so amazing in the comments and said so many nice things to him.
All right, listen up, white folk.
Now that gingers have finally been claimed and are able to take their rightful place with our black brothers and sisters, we gotta set some ground rules for the rest of you male-looking ass people. First up, you cannot use the G word anymore, okay? That term is reserved for us, and also all black people now have the G word pass. We are part of the BIPOC community, okay? We are POHC, people of hair color. Number 2, if you use SPF 50 or higher, that is cultural appropriation. And no, we are not all Irish, okay? That is a stereotype. And to tack on to that, leprechaun is also a slur too. Number 3, no, you cannot ask us if the curtain matches the drapes, okay? We are not here to be fetishized, we are not here for your amusement. We will also no longer be standing for the media portrayals of gingers, particularly ginger women, as being hypersexual vixen temptresses. Dolly Parton, you get a pass for Jolene. Everyone else, no. Now, Redhead Appreciation Day is on September 23rd annually, and we extend this to also be celebrating our black brothers and sisters as well. And Kiss a Ginger Day on January 12th is out. And all of these regulations and protections extend to the rest of the black community as well, not just the ginger poor. And to respect the invitation into the community, we also have no requests with regards to partaking in Juneteenth with you. That is all for you guys. As for Black History Month, we only request that now we be allowed to claim 50% share of Malcolm X. BLM.
I have a message for all the gingers and redheads. They're talking about how they are black people or they are the white people of black people. Here's the thing. I've seen it. It is trending all over TikTok. You can look it up that black people and gingers are the same or gingers are the black people of white people. And I went down the rabbit hole and I was doing my research and I watched all the videos and I'm listening to them and watching them and I'm like, you're right. You guys are right. There are similarities. All of the times that you were picked on, bullied, ridiculed, marginalized, othered just because of the color of your hair. It sounds remotely similar, close to, not the same, but similar to what it's like to be a black person. So if you're a redhead or a ginger or you know one, come join us. You're welcome to be part of me. Come join us. Think about it. With all the stuff that's going on out there, specifically here in the United States, politically, the media, everybody trying to pull us apart, pit us against each other, separate us, anything that creates goodwill between different races is good with me. So to my gingers and redheads, welcome, you're welcome, come join us. And I am so sorry from the bottom of my heart for all the jokes that I made at your expense, because I know I did. They were never mean-spirited, but I know I made the jokes. But they probably got old. Just like the jokes I hear about being black. Those jokes get old too. So, we're like this now. I am you, and you are me. That's all.
I need all my friends that told me growing up that I was not white, that I was black, to come to this post, because you all have apparently been validated. Now, I want to preface this by saying I do not appropriate, I appreciate. And with that being said, I am not trying to woe Vicky this situation. I just want to point out a few things that validate what this woman is talking about. Now, my granny, which is my father's mother, they did her DNA before she passed away. Now, she has some Scottish, well, a lot of Scottish, Irish, a little bit of European, and Western Bantus people in her. Now, mind you, it was not much, but it was there. Now, my granny helped my daddy raise me, and there were so many things that she used to do that my daddy used to do that I used to think was old wives' tales. You know, just superstitions and whatnot, like throwing salt behind your left shoulder, or spitting on a broom because somebody swept over your feet because now you wasn't going to get married, or sweeping behind your feet. Now you're going to jail. You didn't want those things to happen, so you spit on the broom. And it was other things, like my daddy would not let me split a pole when we were walking because that was bad luck. And it was all types of things. You step on the back of his head, he had to tap you on your back. It was just all kinds of things like that. And then I come on this here app and I found out that's hoodoo practices. I thought it was superstition. And mind you, Exhibit A, my hair. Now, if I try to use some hair care products targeted at white people, my shit is going to be dry, frizzy, and just broke off looking. But tonight, I did a co-wash with Shea Moisture and let it air dry. I ain't scrunch it and I ain't put shit on it. This is just how it came out. Now, I know they say the curl pattern is supposed to start at the root, but do y'all see how it flips at the roots? It is not a deep curl, but it is a very deep wave. Also, I would like to point out the fact that I am almost 43 years old. I am not wearing a filter. I'm still breaking out like a fucking teenager. And y'all see all those wrinkles? Yeah, that's right, you don't. Now go look at another white person that's 43. Case closed.
The Irish were not considered fully white. Their skulls were measured, their hair color ranked, and their entire identity questioned. This isn't some obscure footnote in history. It was mainstream science.
Because a lot of Irish people lived in the Deep South, and there was a lot of interracial marriages. That's where we get our little country twang dialect from, is from the dialect of Irish people. For those who've been following my content for a while, you've seen where I've talked about my family a lot. And now we're seeing all these gingers and people on our FYP. Check it out, read your history. Glad this stuff is happening. Loving to see the gingers.
All right, as a ginger, I'm going to chime in on this thing about whether or not gingers are black. I can tell you specifically, this ginger for damn sure has black in him. As a matter of fact, it originates from Congolese and Angolan from about 3,000 years ago. I traced the genealogy for myself and my family based on these genetic apps. And at first I was like, ain't no way. But then again, I started talking to some of my family where I grew up, and it all makes sense. And there are black people in my family. Genetically, black people in my family. It all makes sense. That's the reason why I am different from a lot of white people. A lot of my physical features are different. My hair naturally doesn't look this way. My beard naturally doesn't look this way. None of this looks this way. The amount of work that I have to put into my hair to get it to straighten out, like naturally, like I straightened it today. Naturally, it's already wanting to curl back up. It is hell that I play with this hair. So this is true. This is true. For this one specifically, I can tell you that it is true. I often wondered whenever I was a kid why my dating preference was black girls whenever I was little. My very first girlfriend was black. My daughter, she's been dating black boys since third grade. Naturally, she just gravitates toward them. My sons naturally gravitate toward black girls. It just is what it is. So yeah. All of us tied back to that? That I can't speak on. But I can tell you me, specifically, and everyone that I grew up around who happens to be light-skinned but ginger, every single one of us have black features. You could just tell by looking at us. And I have people hopping up in my comments. They're like, oh my God, you look like us. And I'm like, I know. It's exciting. I love it. And I'm glad to be here.
In all seriousness, with the trend going on, all gingers are black, I have not felt this much love ever in my life. And to the girl that's making this go viral, I just gotta say thank you. Thank you for the love. But honestly, truthfully, thank you, all of you. I hated being a redhead growing up because I was that kid in special ed who couldn't read, who couldn't write, and also had red hair. I had a stutter, and now I grew up to be pretty successful. But I never felt loved. But until today. Like, oh my gosh. So to the girl who made this go super viral, if you're ever in Dallas, Texas, let's go to dinner. You name it, I'll pay for it and I'll take you. My mother's coming too. So thank you all. I love you. Like, I seriously, I am mind blown by this, like no other. Thank you.
Gingers are black people, but not only that, but they were black people. They were literally black people. Up until the 1940s, Irish people were considered black because even if you had one drop of Negro blood, you were considered black, and even had a term for it, smoked Irish. Even during segregation, they were never considered to be white. So the movie Braveheart depicts a white man going up against the English army to stop the invasion. But what's wrong about this is that's supposed to be a black man. They told you that the Scottish and Irish were fighting against the English and that their populations were wiped out by the potato famine or something. But no, actually, they were just deported.
I was looking through footage of my grandfather, who is my mother's dad, and he would use a bit of a more of an old school Cork, right? You hear this in a lot older generations, especially in the inner city of Cork, right? And I was thinking to myself, by Christ, Grandad George sounds like he's from the middle of Barbados. So
look at all these Jamaican and Caribbean last names. They all sound like Irish and Scottish last names. You got Carter, Parker, Porter, Brown, Smith, Campbell, Johnson, McTeague, Macbeth, McShakespeare. These all sound like white ass last names. I'm sorry. Like even my friend from Trinidad and Tobago, he had a white ass last name. I couldn't believe it. Now, as to how Ireland and Scotland became white, it only takes 3 generations of race mixing to turn them completely white. That's it. That's it. You take over the land, and then you give the soldiers the land, and then they replace the population. That's it. They used to be black people. That's it. When you mix white people with melanin, they start to have ginger hair and freckles because that's like the genes fighting to either become white or black. That's what a ginger or a light skinned person is. They're just someone who has a mixture of both. And once you know that, you can never unsee it. Like this beautiful girl over here. I understand now. This is a beautiful black woman. I understand it now. She used to be somewhere in her lineage. She was black. She still is.
All right, redheads. Don't fuck this up for us. No in-bombs, no overly pretending to be black. We're just gonna take what we can get. We're gonna ride it out until it's over. Hopefully in time for cookouts in summertime. Don't mess this up. I believe in us. We got it.
How do I feel about being black? I love it. My whole For You page right now is that gingers are black. First of all, thank you. The biggest thing I want to say is that my whole life, the biggest, by far, biggest cheerleaders of my appearance, of my hair, of my skin, of my freckles, have been black women. It's been from such a beautiful place. It's so sincere. A lot of gingers are coming on here and talking about how we were bullied, and yes, I was too. I was called Casper. Somebody said that I was see-through. I was so pale I was see-through because you could see my veins. I was bullied. We were all bullied. Gingers were not having a moment in the 90s the way that they are now. And second of all, if I get to be an honorary member of the 98%, I am taking that all day. Thank you. That's the team I want to be on. I am so disappointed in my own race, my own gender, and the way that we work against ourselves. I'm not going to sit here and pretend, though, that my experience in life has been anything like what black women deal with. This is all fun and games, and I love it so much. But like, let's all remember also that, yes, this is hilarious, and yes, we all want to be invited to the cookout so bad. Like, tell me who all going to be there, what can I bring, or nothing. I mean, I do season my food, but anyway, I'm getting off track. I still have white privilege. And gingers, I know we're only 2% of the population, but that's still a good number of people. And maybe if we all like this dialogue and we are all excited about the idea that we get to be maybe like just a tiny bit part of the black community or adjacent to it, then maybe we should like think about what we could do to support them, not just how they've supported us and how sweet this whole conversation is. I worked for a black news show for about 2 years, and almost every staff member was black. And let me tell you, the things that I learned from working there changed my life, changed my perspective. The way that the internal racism that a lot of us have is so secret, you don't even realize necessarily that it's there, but that job like just busted open my brain in such a good way. So yes, please let me be part of this community. It is an incredible community. But also let's remember, like, when I was pregnant and I went to the hospital, I wasn't worried about the quality of care that I was gonna get. I knew I was gonna be taken care of. Okay, I didn't have to have an army of people in the room with me to make sure that I was listened to. I can go to doctor's appointments without having a friend on the phone because I'm worried that the doctor is going to minimize the pain that I'm in. I can drive a car and get pulled over without fearing for my life. The list goes on and on. So I think this is a really awesome and fun conversation. I think also it is a good time to just remember the reality of the situation as well. If we want the fun part of it and if we want to be part of the conversation in a playful way, then I think we also need to be part of it in a serious way.
Because when you really think about it, ginger is really the N-word rearranged. Jesus.
Yes, of course, I've seen the dialogue about redheads being black people and my FYP. I've seen it everywhere. I'm a redhead. My entire FYP is covered in other redheads and black people being excited about this realization. However, I do have a story very quickly about when I first realized that there was an intersectionality between redheads and black people. And this stems all the way back in high school, right after the South Park episode came out, where they actually started coining ginger. And like, I've been called a ginger from that moment on. They thought it was hilarious, right? The interesting thing to me, I don't like being called a ginger. A lot of redheads I know don't like being called a ginger. It doesn't stick with me. But I had somebody come up to me in high school directly after that episode came out and look me square in the face and said, have you ever realized that if you rearrange the letters of ginger, you get, the word that is used to describe black people in the era of slavery, an extremely derogatory term. And from that moment, I have not been able to shake that realization that to some people, an other, whether it be a white person with red hair or a black person, will always be an other. And it's funny to them. It's comical to them. Or to the rest of us, I grew up like this. This isn't, a choice that I made into by my hair. Now it's very fashionable, right? A lot of black people grew up feeling other, being one or two of the only black people in their community, and now it's very fashionable to appropriate hairstyles and AAVE and whatever it might be. It's a little exhausting, and it's really weird to see people kind of like fetishize both communities in the same way. But it's undeniable that there are actual overlaps in the redhead community, historically as well, in the black community. And I think that's why we're so excited today to kind of realize that like there are populations that have and will understand very similar life trajectories and experiences, even if it is directly outside of your own community, right? So I'm sorry to bring down the vibe. I just thought I hadn't heard anybody else have that experience, so I figured I would share it. I don't know.
I hear? That all gingers are black now? I just feel so cool, so loved. Thank you for accepting me.
I just want to humbly say that waking up on the morning, the anniversary of my mother's passing, it's been 5 years, waking up and getting on this app and seeing this viral trend, this viral conversation about gingers has just somehow healed a little piece of my soul today. I don't know how to explain it, and I feel like if you know, you know. First of all, I can say I've always known there was a soul connection somehow with the black community. I was raised around hate and in a small community, a very small conservative community with a lot of values and perspectives and beliefs that I did not align with and never have and never will. And so aside from the bullying and the harassment, the sexual harassment that I've experienced in my life, which I have already experienced on this app within seconds of me even having this conversation, I just want to say thank you to the black community, but specifically to black women. I want to say thank you, and I want to let you know wholeheartedly, I want you to know that your children, your babies, are always safe with me. Always. Much love.
Gingers are black. Where was this energy for Halle Bailey when she was Ariel, though? Lock the doors and bar the fucking gates, because I don't remember a single ginger person calling Halle cousin. I remember them saying, not my Ariel, not my Little Mermaid. They were the most pressed group of people harassing this young woman online, all over social media, berating her, being racist as fuck to her. Okay, so I know people are gonna say it's a joke, Melissa, take a joke, you're being so serious. When you give people an inch, they're gonna take a mile. And you know what, this trend is very telling, because if you ask a non-black person what their favorite thing is about black people, you know what they're gonna say? They're gonna say, oh, I love that they're great hype people. They make me feel cool. It's all about how black people embrace them and they love it, right? But the embracing doesn't go the other way around. You have people that want and love to be welcome to black spaces, but they don't want to welcome black people into their spaces.
All right, you heard what the folks had to say. What do you think? Are gingers black? Make sure that you subscribe, comment, like, share, hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time I come to run my mouth.